Hey everybody, this is Steve. I'm coming at you from my home office today, and I want to record a brief video to talk a little bit about participation and to talk about the peer review that's coming up. Um, at the end of the week last week, I emailed everybody a very brief email to give them some sort of heads up on participation, and because participation counts for a lot in this class. So the emails that I sent to people were basically in three categories. One was great, keep it up, you're doing everything great. On the other extreme was there's several people who are registered for the class who have not participated at all. And if you don't participate in the class, you're not going to pass. And then the third category is a broad one, which I basically said to a lot of people, you're doing okay, but you need to begin a little bit more earlier, and there's other things that you could do. So, and some people seem to be a little bit confused by some of that, so I thought I would, again, record a short video to talk about some of those things. Um, to get an A for participation, and that's what I'm assuming. I'm assuming everybody wants to do the best that they can for participation. There's basically three parts. The first part is you need to begin on Mondays and on Wednesdays. If you look at the schedule, and the schedule is just the tab at the top of the page, and if you click on that and you scroll down, you'll see the when we're doing various things through the semester. And you'll notice it says begin on Mondays or begin on Wednesday or whatever the date may be. Begin means start. Begin means go. Okay? What I think is interesting is a number of people have thought, oh, well, I have until Wednesday or I have until Friday to post a comment. And that's true just in terms of getting to the basic level of participation. If you want to get just a C for participation, which is totally fine if that's what people want to do, then you can have until Wednesday and then you have until Friday. But if you want to do your best for participation, you should begin on Monday and you should begin on Wednesday. The second thing is that remember that the participation, the comments on the website are a discussion. It's sort of to replicate what we would do if we were in a face-to-face class. So you don't want to write big, huge, long essays about whatever it is that we read. You want to engage each other in discussing those essays. So, start off by writing some sort of general sort of thought, and then part of the discussion can be you responding to other people about why you agree or disagree or building off of those comments and so forth. Along those lines, and this kind of speaks to the timeliness issue too, late posts, late comments are really not worth it. If you post a discussion about a topic after the deadline, it's sort of like showing up to class the next day and saying, oh, can we talk about what we talked about yesterday? Can we talk about that now? It doesn't work like that. So timeliness, discussion-wise, and discussing all the readings and points. In other words, last week we had, the first part of the week we had readings assigned from Dirks, and there was the video in defense of rhetoric. And then the second part of the week was the Anson Fosberg reading, the one about the interns and all that kind of stuff. A lot of people didn't post on the Anson Fosberg reading at all. And that's not really A-level participation. So you want to, again, timeliness, responding to other people, responding to all the readings. A couple people asked in the email responses to me if I expect everybody to participate in the class every day online. And the answer to that is not exactly. It kind of depends on your circumstances. My circumstances are I am in front of the computer pretty much every day, all day long when I'm working. So I tend to participate in the class on a daily basis because I can. It's right there and it's open on my screen. You might not be in that situation. But what you should do for sure is plan on participating on Mondays and on Wednesdays. And times that you can fit in there between or before. Like, I usually post stuff that's available I usually post stuff that we're going to talk about on Monday, Sunday afternoon. I usually post stuff we're going to talk about on Wednesday by Tuesday afternoon. So, you can kind of like participate in there too if that works a little bit better for you. And you want to sort of touch base, if you can, several times during the week. But for sure, you want to find some time in that time on the beginning of 24 hours on Mondays and beginning of 24 hours on Wednesdays. And then the other issue about participation is you should plan on being on the class website, reading other comments, posting comments, engage in the discussion almost about 3 hours a week. And you might be saying to yourself, holy cow, that's a lot of time. Well, yeah, but it's the same amount of time, give or take, that we would be spending if we were in a face-to-face class together. And remember, an online class shifts time. It doesn't really save time. Okay? If you have any other questions about participation, just let me know and I'll try to help you out the best that I can. The other thing I wanted to mention is we're heading into the first peer review activity for this semester. Now, I've got all the sort of explanation for how that works, and I have I have put everybody into groups, or I will put everybody into groups, and I'll explain the process there. But the thing I wanted to say basically two things about the peer review process for this semester. The first thing is that it takes practice to do good peer reviews. So in other words, the kind of peer review that the kind of feedback that you're going to give each other at the beginning of the semester is not going to be as good as the feedback that you give each other at the end of the semester. That is perfectly normal. It's a question of getting to know each other. It's a question of getting to know the assignments. You'll do better as we go along. The second key thing is that you have to buy into the premise that peer review works. That is that other people in class have things to say about your writing projects that are worth listening to and worth considering, and that it's not just about what the teacher says. Because, again, it never is like that. Writing is always for an audience beyond just the class. And it really is true that other people in the class really will have things that are of value to say. But it's especially true in a professional writing situation because you're trying to write things to an audience that you're imagining in the public world, in the world outside of this class. You're working on a personal statement that is directed specifically to something that you're interested in applying to, a graduate school, a law school, a scholarship program, etc. Things like that ask for personal statements. So we're all in this situation, both me and your classmates, in the situation of imagining what would that audience want? What sort of information are they looking for? What makes for good writing in that context? So other people in the class are just as able to give you feedback as me to make the writing better. Okay, pay attention to the schedule in terms of like when the peer review process begins and ends too, because that's really important to do on a timely basis, and you'll be docked a letter grade if you're late. And participation also falls in the category of peer review falls in the category of something that's part of the participation grade too, so it's important for that. Okay, I hope that helps. See you online.